Hello, it's day 9 of the September basho, and it's time for a quick strike! Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dohyo. This of course is a quick strike, a mid-basho, sort of amuse-bouche of an episode, not a full episode, where we sort of discuss the basho that is currently in motion and what that means for the state of sumo. Of course, there will be spoilers for the first 9 days of the tournament, so if you have not watched through day 9 of the September tournament, stop now, watch it, and return to us. First of all, I apologize for not being available to do one for day 5. The day 9 is going to sort of be the only one we get to this tournament. As I know I have mentioned multiple times, I am currently in a preview process for a brand new musical called The Griswold's Broadway Vacation. We are in our, hopefully, pre-Broadway tryout here in Seattle at the 5th Avenue for 2 more weeks. If you are interested, hit me up and I will give you all the information. Just throw it down in the comments. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Hoga De Fuji going 9-0. Okay, so I guessed that this was going to be a 12-3 U show. I guessed it was going to be Turn to Fuji, which mathematically is not possible anymore now that he's given up 4 kinboshi. We'll get to that. But Hoga De Fuji has managed to pull the inside straight, 9-0, sitting alone on the leaderboard. Whew. This is the tournament I expected Hoga De Fuji to have last tournament. He's always been a very inconsistent rikishi, but he normally doesn't hang out this low on the banzage. Normally, he bounces down and then bounces back up and then bounces back down to sort of lower Sanyaku area down to mid Maegashira. He got a Make Koshi last tournament. The whole insanity of the COVID banzage happened, so he's still right around Maegashira 8, 9-0. His toughest opponents so far have been Maegashira 6s, or Maegashira's 6. So I do not think he is going to win out a perfect Zensho, but if he can just pull half of his remaining 6, that's 12 wins, and I think that'll be good enough to get the Yusho. And at 8-1, right behind veteran Tamawashi, whose streak is still officially intact because he did not go voluntarily Kyujo. So that's awesome. Tamawashi, of course, has already won a Yusho. In fact, he's sort of been the first of this recent group of first-time Yusho winners sort of popping out of nowhere. I have to admit, I'm sort of rooting for Tamawashi here. He is having the better tournament, in my opinion. A lot of the other leaders have not faced a whole lot of Sanyaku. Tamawashi has been in the meat grinder. He has had to face a majority Sanyaku opponents and pulled off a kinboshi. He's beaten some ozeki. Like, he has been, I think his only loss is Wakataka Kage, and he's 5-1 versus the Sanyaku at this point. So, the question is, for Tamawashi, will the second week fade get in the way of the easier schedule? Takayasu, 7-2. Okay, this is one of the Maegashira I expected to be doing well. I was not expecting Tamawashi and Hoga De Fuji to necessarily have tournaments like this, but Takayasu, I had a good feeling. He's been doing very well. He's only lost to Takake and Ura, who are both having above average tournaments for them. I think Takayasu has the experience and the know-how to stick around to the end of the second week. We all know his history. He tends to end tournaments where he is possibly going to win with his hands firmly wrapped around his own neck, but maybe this is going to be different. Now we have a couple other 7-2s, Chiyoshima and Nishiki Fuji. I don't see them getting promoted super aggressively down the stretch, and I don't see them necessarily factoring in, although I am super psyched for Nishiki Fuji because, as we all recall, he set the record for Fusen wins last tournament, so I think we were all a little wondering, what happens if he has to wrestle all 15 days? Well, apparently he does pretty darn well. One of his 2 losses has been Hoga De Fuji, which I don't think we can blame anyone for losing to Hoga Fuji right now. Super happy to be wrong about the Maegashira's 1, Tobizaru and Midori Fuji. First of all, Tobizaru 6-3. Didn't see that one coming at all. So that would be amazing if he can hold on for a Kachi Koshi up here. He's faced most of the toughest opponents he can and still has a winning record. Tobizaru in the Sanyaku was something I have never imagined, so dude, even if you finish Make Koshi from here on out, like, mad respect for you. And Midori Fuji, 4-5, but what a 4-5 it has been. Like, that match today with Ichi Nojo, he is giving every match every ounce of strength he has, and that, if nothing else, is the absolute spirit of sumo. So both these guys are getting a pre-shout-out attaboy for the thing. Like, yeah, I'm very impressed with both of them. A little worried about our Ozeki core right now. Takayasu, in what should be his prime, with a clearly diminished Fuji, should have more than 6 wins right now, I think. Mitake 3-6. Ooh, I'm very worried about him. I think he's going to drop down to Ozeki Wake. Since finally making Ozeki earlier this year, Mitake has not been doing that well. In fact, like, the only reason he's still in Ozeki now is because he, fortunately, got a COVID Kyujo last tournament. And Shodai, ooh, I said he wasn't going to start 1-4 again. And, I mean, he did start 1-4, but heck, he started 1-8. What? The main thing I'm noticing with Shodai is that, like, if he's not nailing that Tachiai, he doesn't seem to have the cartoon sumo ability to just magically get out of the way at the bales anymore. Now he just loses or falls down. Fuji looks hurt. Ooh, he's given up 4 Kinboshi. He obviously is not 100%. If I were him, I'd call Kyujo and just say, like, hey, I want to go rest up so next time I can do the thing. But he seems determined to try to make it all 15 days. I think 4 losses takes him effectively out of the Yusho picture at this point. But we'll see if Hoga De Fuji ends up getting just heavily promoted down the end to face the Yokozuna, because that will be a fascinating match. We've got a Girio Watch right now. I'd say Suragisho, Yutakayama, and Chio Tairyu are in pretty rough waters right now, and then unless they like win out, I'm pretty sure they're going to be going down. Aoyama at 2-7 and Takara Fuji at 1-8 have the easiest path to sort of pull out of this nosedive, but if they lose out, they're both going to be going down to Girio, or at least their records would qualify them for a drop. Coming up, we have, I think, 3 very interesting prospects right here. Atami Fuji, 6-3. I thought he'd do well at the higher rank, and he is. Kageyaki, former Makauchi mainstay, is also 6-3 at Girio 4. So if those guys can just go half and half on the way out, I think they both get promoted come November. And Hokuseiho. Okay, he finally is seeming to be having his breakout basho in Girio. He's 8-1 in the lead. Let's see if he can finish strong. This has been a heck of a tournament. I can't wait to see how it finishes. All right, thank you for joining me on this quick strike.